Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nikki Wright, and I'm here with Sarah Swenson King, and we're a part of the 91 Improvement Project Community Outreach Team. Thank you again for joining us for a project update.
All right, hi everybody. As folks are still continuing to log on, we're just going to take a couple of minutes to go over some housekeeping items. Our webinar is being recorded and it will be posted to our website at octa.net/91improvements for those who couldn't join us live today. So be sure to let them know if you have neighbors or friends who weren't able to be here, they have a chance to still see the presentation. Spanish interpretation is available. We have Elizabeth Orozco here who's going to serve as our Spanish interpreter. And so when I'm done going through these announcements, she will come on and repeat them in Spanish. As part of the webinar feature, your microphone is automatically muted and your cameras are disabled. There will be an opportunity for questions following the presentation, so please use the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen and just click on that. A pop-up will appear and you can type in your questions there. Our team may provide written responses in real time as appropriate, but at the conclusion of our presentation, Nikki and I will go through those questions and do our best to answer as many as we can. And then finally, the chat feature will be reserved for our team to provide you with important resources throughout the meeting. Some of our team members are in the back who have resources available, such as our fact sheet and our FAQ that they can drop into the chat. You can click on those links, read them either during the presentation or anytime afterwards. I already saw somebody said hello with a smiley face in our chat, so thank you for using that. And then finally, if you need any assistance at all troubleshooting anything during the presentation, please email us at 91project@octa.net or call us at 888-280-7966 if you have any questions. So now we'll go to the next slide, and Elizabeth, you can take it over from here and interpret those in Spanish, please.
Buenas tardes. Nuestro seminario web será grabado y publicado en nuestro sitio web en octa.net/91 improvements para aquellos que no pudieron unirse a nosotros el día de hoy. Habrá interpretación en español disponible y cuando termine de repasar estos anuncios, como es ahorita, lo estoy anunciando. Como parte de la función del seminario web, su micrófono va a estar en silencio automáticamente y las cámaras se van a desactivar. Habrá una oportunidad para hacer preguntas después de la presentación. Por favor, utilice la función de preguntas y respuestas de Zoom. Para aquellos de ustedes que no estén familiarizados con la plataforma Zoom, la función de preguntas y respuestas se encuentra en un cuadro en la parte inferior de la pantalla. Simplemente haga clic donde dice Q y A, aparecerá un mensaje emergente y en su pantalla donde podrá escribir su pregunta. Nuestro equipo puede proporcionar respuestas escritas en tiempo real según corresponda, pero al concluir la presentación haremos todo lo posible para resaltar y responder todos los temas y asuntos clave de estas preguntas. La función del chat estará reservada para que nuestro equipo le brinde recursos importantes durante la reunión. Tenemos también algunos recursos incluyendo la hoja informativa y las preguntas frecuentes del proyecto. Pondremos un enlace a estos documentos en el chat y podrá descargarlos en cualquier momento durante la presentación. También compartiremos un enlace para registrarse para recibir alertas del proyecto. Puede registrarse para recibir alertas de todo el proyecto, alertas específicas de cada segmento o ambas. También lanzaremos encuestas o preguntas de sondeo a lo largo de la presentación como una forma interactiva de conocer más sobre nuestra audiencia. Y por último, si necesita ayuda para solucionar problemas durante la presentación, envíenos un correo electrónico a 91project@octa.net o llámenos al 888-287966. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And we'd like to acknowledge some additional team members who are working in the background to keep our webinar running smoothly. Jeannie Lee, OCTA Project Manager, Steve Connolly, WSP Project Manager and Construction Manager, Stephen Kim, Senior Transportation Engineer with Caltrans, Sarah Makis, Amanda Reno, Megan Johnson, and Cynthia Unsueta from the Community Outreach Team. Thank you all. And they'll be managing our questions, doing research with some of the members of the technical team, and communicating with the audience via that chat box there. And finally, we want to reiterate that the meeting today is being recorded and it will be available by tomorrow afternoon on our project website at octa.net/91 improvements. So again, if someone you know may be interested in this information or wasn't able to join us today, please head over to our website and check it out. Let's see. Think we can go ahead and move on. We're gonna go back to Elizabeth, and she'll provide instructions for anyone interested in hearing today's Zoom interpretation feature. Once the instructions are given, we'll enable that interpretation feature and then begin our presentation about the project. So Elizabeth, please provide those instructions now. Thank you.
Nuevamente, en cuanto termine de dar estas instrucciones, voy a ser asignada como la intérprete. A partir de entonces va a tener la función disponible. Para acceder al servicio de interpretación en Zoom, si está conectado por computadora, haga clic en el icono de interpretación en las opciones de reunión. Seleccione Spanish o español en el menú desplegable. Si se está conectando por teléfono móvil, en los controles de su reunión, toque el icono de 3 puntos o el que dice More o más. Toque la opción de interpretación de idiomas y seleccione Spanish o español y luego haga clic en finalizar o end.
All right, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get started with our first poll. We're going to do a poll. It's going to pop up on the middle of your screen. We'd like to know how you heard about this webinar. If you could please select one of the options. It's multiple choice. You can scroll down if it was on social media, next door, email that we sent out, a postcard. We'd be glad to know. Looks like email and social media so far. Postcard mailer, great. Thank you. Awesome. Great information for us to have so we know what's getting to you, what you're looking at. All right. Thank you all. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So a little bit about our project. Here's a brief overview, then we'll go into some details about all 3 segments. The project is approximately 6.6 miles long, and we will improve mobility by reducing and weaving merging between ramps. We're going to rebuild and improve the on and off ramps, lanes, and sidewalks at the following bridges: La Palma Avenue, the Kramer Boulevard / LaSalle Street Bridge, Tustin Avenue, and Lakeview Bridge. Our project partners include the cities of Anaheim, Orange, Fullerton, Placentia, and Yorba Linda. And the overall cost of the project is approximately $779 million and is funded by federal, state, and local sources. And on the next slide is our project map. On the far right of the map, you can see in blue is segment 1. That's roughly between the 55 to Lakeview Avenue, which will improve traffic operations on the westbound side of the freeway, and will build a new ramp connecting drivers to the southbound 55. On segment 3 in the middle, shown in orange, which is roughly between the 57 and the 55 interchanges, will mainly make some improvements to the eastbound 91. And then in segment 3 on the far left, shown in green, this includes improvements to the 5791 interchange, including some enhancements to help merging traffic in the westbound direction. And as previously noted, we're rebuilding the La Palma Avenue Bridge. So these next few slides, I'm going to talk a little bit more detail about each segment. Here is segment 1. And the current challenge here, as most of you who I'm sure are on this webinar know that live in the area or travel on Lakeview, traffic getting onto the 91 from Lakeview going westbound crosses multiple lanes to get to southbound 55. So this project will improve that movement by realigning the Lakeview on-ramp to westbound 91 and directing traffic to westbound 91 only. And then we're building a new signalized on-ramp from Lakeview to southbound 55. This ramp will provide drivers a direct connection to the lanes leading onto 55 from Lakeview, and that will streamline that transition, reducing the need for merging with other traffic. And then we're going to separate the traffic continuing on westbound from the southbound 55. So this next slide will show that as a result of the Lakeview Avenue Bridge over the freeway being replaced, it shows two-phase bridge construction. So this means we will shift traffic to one half of the bridge while we demolish and reconstruct the other side, and then we'll do the same again. We will shift traffic to the new side of the bridge while we demolish the old bridge and rebuild the second half. So that's how Lakeview is going to be built. This process is anticipated to take about 6 to 9 months per side, so about 18 months total, but you will have access on Lakeview while we're rebuilding. The new and improved Lakeview Avenue will have standard lanes, shoulders, and sidewalks in each direction when we're done, and then of course that new direct on-ramp to southbound 55. Segment 1 starts on April 14th next week. The activities that we expect to start next week include removing some trees and vegetations and setting up concrete barriers, which is also called K-rail, to create safe work zones in the area for crews. And then we're going to restripe some lanes on the mainline freeway, again, to create the work zone. The completion of segment 1 is anticipated to occur in late 2027. So on the next slide here, we can see segment 2. This middle segment will improve mainly the eastbound direction of the 91 by adding a regular lane. Within this segment, we are also rebuilding both the Kramer Boulevard, which is also Gliselle Street Bridge, and the Tustin Avenue Bridge. And both of these bridges will be constructed in 2 phases, just as I explained as Lakeview, the same phases there. You'll have access on both of those while we are rebuilding. And we anticipate segment 2 to begin construction in early 2026 and end in approximately early 2030. And for segment 3 shown here, this is the westernmost segment, and it includes work on the La Palma Avenue Bridge and the 9157 interchange. Crews will add a regular lane in the westbound direction, approximately between La Palma and State College, and we will improve this area where traffic merges from westbound 91 to northbound and southbound 57. We will add an auxiliary lane or a merge lane from the 57 to the Raymond Avenue / East Street off-ramp, and that will help with some merging across multiple lanes that people do in that area. And the project will also add a separate bypass ramp for northbound 57 at Orangethorpe Avenue off-ramp from the 91. That will also help with eliminating the need to merge across multiple lanes at that interchange. The existing La Palma Avenue Bridge will also be replaced, as mentioned, with a new higher bridge to create a higher vertical clearance for trucks going underneath. And once it's complete, it will include 4 lanes with shoulders and sidewalks. And the La Palma Avenue Bridge will be reconstructed in 1 phase, unlike the other bridges that I mentioned. So this means there will not be access to the bridge for drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists while we are rebuilding it. It will be closed for approximately 12 months. So drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians will be rerouted and detoured during that time. Segment 3 is anticipated to start in late 2025, later this year, and be completed in mid-2029. Now, before I hand it back over to Sarah, let's launch another quick poll. We'd like to know where you live. If you could just take a few minutes on your screen, the poll should pop up, and you can scroll down for some other options. We've listed the cities that touch the project. You may own a business in the area. You may drive through. So we're interested in knowing where the folks that are on the webinar today. Perfect. Commuting through, lots of Anaheim folks. Welcome, welcome. Great. We'll give this a few more seconds here. Thank you for sharing your info. All right, thank you so much. Now I'm going to hand it over to Sarah.
Great, thanks, Nikki. I know that's a lot of information to digest. As Nikki shared, the project is split into 3 segments. We see some folks using our chat feature, which is great. And I would just encourage everyone to kind of use the Q&A functionality if you have a specific question. But some of the stuff that I've seen so far, Nikki, I'm just going to go off course, is if folks can get the PowerPoint online and if this video or presentation will be available online. So the answer is yes to all of the above. So we should have all of that information on our website tomorrow, which is octa.net/91 improvements. So thank you for that. So again, if you can direct your questions to the Q&A feature, I would encourage you to do so. But if you're using the chat, that's still okay. We still see you chiming in over there. All right, so what to expect during construction. As with any construction project, there are short-term temporary impacts that are to be expected. I know short-term doesn't seem so short-term when Nikki's talking about something that's going to be completed in 2030, but that's part of the reason why this whole project holistically is split into 3 different segments. So generally, the contractor will be working on weekdays, but also will need to be working at night and on the weekends for certain activities. So as with most highway construction projects, noise and vibration can be expected from activities such as demolition, pile driving, concrete barrier removal, or asphalt grinding, among other activities. And then, of course, to be able to do that work at night, temporary lighting during the nighttime operations will also be in place. Closures will be needed for crews to perform work, including bridge and wall demolition, ramp reconstruction, overhead sign removal and installation, paving and striping, and again, a variety of other activities. So for major construction activities, as Nikki shared, the demolition of the Lakeview Avenue Bridge, 1 half at a time, those types of key activities will require a full overnight freeway closure. And those closures are typically between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. And as mentioned earlier, some of the on and off ramps will be closed for a longer duration. So we always encourage motorists to plan ahead for these types of traffic impacts and always allow extra time to reach your destination. There's a lot of people that are on the webinar that we can see here, which is great. This is just the project getting underway. So we hope that as we continue to host additional webinars, that you keep telling your friends and family about where you can find our information so that we can just make sure everyone is informed. If we can go to the next slide, please. All right, so as part of this, it's our job to keep you informed, your neighbors, businesses, the residents, and all of the people that are traveling through the corridor. As Nikki launched that poll, there were a handful of people who don't necessarily live in one of the project cities, but they're just traveling along the 91. So we want to make sure that you're informed of all of the activities that may impact you. And so we do that in a variety of ways. For major activities, we will canvass flyers to addresses within about a quarter mile of the scheduled activity. As Nikki shared earlier, as early as Monday, our crews will start clearing and grubbing along the westbound 91 lanes. So that's a perfect example that some of the homes that are adjacent to the freeway would have received a flyer just dedicated to that activity so that they could have a special heads up for the crews doing their work. On the screen here, I'm going to direct your attention to that beautiful postcard. I might be biased, but that we sent out to a variety of zip codes within the project area. I myself live in Anaheim Hills, and so I received one of those postcards. So if you happen to live in the project area, you might have received that. Again, it's just directing people where they can find our information. Once construction does kick off, our outreach will be sending out weekly construction email alerts. You can sign up this afternoon if you'd like. We'll have a team member drop the link in the chat. It takes you directly to a form where you can put your email address. You can sign up for the entire project alert, or you can have specific email alerts. It's really just up to you and how we tailor that information for you. We will also be using a live interactive Google map to communicate closures and detours throughout construction. This is something that's a great tool. Maybe you don't use the 91 all the time and you just, maybe you live in the Inland Empire and you want to head over to the beach now that we're getting warmer weather. This is a great tool to put on your mobile phone, check it out on your on your computer at home. So you can plan ahead and say, do I need to take the 91 or do I want to avoid it for this weekend? And then of course, we always frequently post on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X. As I continue to chat here, we'll launch another poll. We are asking everyone that's here today, what is the best way for you to receive our construction information? And it's multiple choice. I mean, you could choose all that apply and there's a lot of options on there. So make sure you scroll in the poll. But we hold stakeholder briefings like what we're doing today, both virtually and in person. Just yesterday, Nikki and I were presenting to the Placentia Rotary. And so these are the types of groups, if you have, if you're a member of a church, if you have children at a local school nearby, and you think, hey, there's a lot of parents or people that are using this route and they should be aware of this project, that's the type of information we would love to hear so that we can tailor our content to best suit your needs. We will, if you have anybody that's living in the area, you have kids, grandkids, and might be participating in the Anaheim Hills Little League, you know that games are played over at the Crescent Elementary School right there adjacent to Lakeview. Just an example of the photo that you see on the slide, our team will be having a booth next to the snack shack in a couple of weeks, making sure that all of the parents there are aware of what's to come ahead and how they can plan accordingly. And so as Amanda has dropped in our chat, we have the project fact sheets, the FAQs, detour maps. So all of this will be developed as the project continues on, and we will have all of this information available on our website to be able to reach a broader audience. So we'll go over to the next slide. And I believe this is what we're wrapping up with. Yeah, so this is our all the ways to stay connected. If you're viewing this on your computer, you can use your mobile phone to scan the QR code. Again, it takes you directly to our project website, which is also listed here, octa.net/91improvements. Our email address is on there. It goes to a number of people on our team so that somebody can get back to you. If we don't know the answer, we'll be sure to let you know that, and we'll work with the technical team behind the scenes to be able to get the best information for you. You can reach us on our phone number, 888-280-7966. And again, follow us on all of the social platforms that are out there at 91 Improvements. So with that, Nikki, I will pass it over to you and we can look at Q&A.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yes, so just really quickly in the chat, Carrie, yes, info will be posted consistently on the website. We'll have this recording on the website. We will have our weekly construction alerts, a copy of those posted on the website, that interactive Google map, and our social media feed will be posted on the website. So tons of information on the website and updated probably every few days, if not daily. So that is a great resource to get the information you need. And then if there's not something there that you are looking for, then please email our team or call our team. We will have photos as well. And if you are a journalist for a construction publication, oh, Carrie, I remember seeing your name now. That's so funny. Yes, Eric on our PIO team should be connecting with you. So he is a part of our media team. He would be happy to work with you on whatever you need. Yes, you're welcome. Okay. I just want to make sure we capture all the questions in the chat and the Q&A feature.
So I pulled up the Q&A. Are you looking in the chat?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking at both here.
Okay. I've got the Q&A. We have a question. How exactly, this is probably the number one question. So Bob, you're right on the nose there. How exactly does OCTA plan to build an on-ramp from Lakeview Avenue onto the 55 South? And he was mentioning if there's any details, photos, renderings that he could reference in the future.
Yes, so great question. We went over a little bit about that in our two-phase bridge approach for Lakeview, but our team is actually working on what the final product will look like for that specific signalized on-ramp to the 55 from Lakeview. So it isn't online yet, but we are working on it because we know everyone's very curious about it. So we will get that up on our website very soon, we promise, and social media. So please keep a lookout for that. We can also either put it in or a link to it in our email alerts. So sign up for those, please.
We have another question that's asking if for all the different segments, if there will be several contractors.
There's going to be one contractor for a different contractor for each segment. So 3 separate contractors. Granite is the contractor for segment 1, and we're still, Caltrans is still working on procuring their contractors for the other 2 segments. That was for Susan.
Yes. All right. I see some specifics. I know we have our technical team on here, so I'm happy to read the question out loud, Nikki, and we can go from there.
Sure.
One of the questions is, will traffic be detoured to Frontera Street when La Palma Avenue is closed? How will Frontera be able to accommodate extra traffic being only 1 lane in each direction?
So this is for segment 3, and I definitely don't know this offhand yet, Joseph, but But if our technical folks on the inside here have that information, we'll look out for that and see if they can get us that information during the webinar. If not, we will take this. Joseph, if you could, in your chat, just directly to us, leave your email. And if we can't answer it during this webinar, we can get back to you. Good question on detours.
There's a question from Lisa. Currently, and Lisa, you must be a neighbor of mine because I use Santa Ana Canyon all the time. So currently westbound traffic on Santa Ana Canyon Road turning right onto Lakeview has significant backup on Santa Ana Canyon Road. Will this project improve to reduce the backup? This
Let's
is a
see.
tricky one.
Yeah. It is. So you're so familiar with the area, Sarah. Are we talking about, we're talking about Lakeview and Santa Ana then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And
it'd be folks coming westbound on Santa Ana Canyon, at least how I'm reading the question, and then turning right onto Lakeview.
Going and then going just
Go-
through Lakeview, or are they
Right.
getting on? Are we getting onto the freeway?
Yeah, it doesn't
From there?
specify, but I think it's just as
In
a
general.
resident, I'm gonna go rogue. I guess we'll go rogue here. But as a resident, a lot of people use Santa Ana Canyon Road as an alternative to the 91 when they see a lot of backup there going east or west. I think at that spot, it's about 2 lanes. Maybe it opens to 3 to be able to turn right onto Lakeview. So I think, Lisa, it won't necessarily address the local traffic, but that whole interchange will be reconfigured, including, correct me if I'm not wrong, maybe we could go to that slide. Megan, it's the segment 1 slide. Is the eastbound on-ramp from Lakeview going to be, is that blue on that slide, Nikki? So it would be the eastbound
Going north.
going north on Lakeview, the eastbound ramp.
We're going to be working on that ramp, but I don't think there's much change to it
Okay.
from what it is now.
Right. Yeah, so at least I think with any freeway project, the intent is to improve mobility, reduce any of the merging and the weaving. This is not a local street project, but it is an interchange project. But I think once it's all done, I think just even having that direct drop ramp into the 55, that should help keep the traffic flowing through that general area.
Area traffic, yeah. And back to, let's see, back to Joseph's question. We have a detour to Mira Loma to Kramer, which is the main detour route. So that's what our team is going to put out there. And then that will be what the signed detour is, the approved detour with the city. And then folks can do with that what they will. Thank you for that question. All
Okay.
right. Let me just check here. I need more time to understand. Okay.
We have a question about the residents who live on McKinnon Drive, just east of Lakeview, directly by the bridge. There's only one access point into our housing tract. Will access be available at all times to come and go? Excellent question from a safety perspective. Nikki, do you want to take that one?
Yes, so our technical team in the background, that's why I'm looking here. We don't believe that we're impacting access to McKinnon.
Mm-hmm. But another important piece, Gail, and for any of your neighbors that live there on McKinnon, we are working very closely with first responders, emergency services. This includes CHP, Sheriff's Office, local PD, the fire department, ambulance services. And so safety is paramount and of utmost importance. So creating that access is something that, as Nikki shared, our technical team does not believe will be impacted, but nevertheless, we will make sure that we share that comment with our technical team of the project office.
Yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. The question I'm seeing now, for segment 1, I heard improvements being made for westbound area. Will there be any improvements in the 91 eastbound in exiting Lakeview? Currently, it requires multiple lane changes after the 91-55 curve. And it looks like maybe there's some safety concerns there. If we could go back to the segment Thank you.
Segment 1.
All right, let's see. So for this, just reading here a little bit of background information. Bear with us here. So yes, we will be addressing that. We're modifying the westbound 91 on-ramp to direct traffic to 91, and our direct ramp to southbound 55 will help this, and will separate the traffic from the 91 to the 55. So those improvements should be what helps with that safety concern there. But if you have any other further concerns or specific questions for a ramp that you take often, please email our team. We'd be happy to dig a little bit deeper on that. And the contractor for this project is Granite Construction. You had a question about who the contractor is for segment 1. So, Sarah, do you want to take this next one? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I
Alright.
was scrolling through. Which one was it?
No,
Where
that's
did you?
okay. So we have someone that's asked about, living close to the 91 freeway, which so many of you I'm sure do. And we talked a little bit about noise and vibration, how much should be expected. Will we be able to sleep?
Oh gosh, yes. I mean, I can't control your sleep. I don't know there's so many variables, right, that might impact your sleep. But the short answer is yes, we hope so. I think with any construction project and living near a freeway, it's expected to have some nighttime noise and vibration. This is where our job comes in handy, where we get a look ahead schedule from the contractor and we know when those activities will take place. We want to do our best to walk flyers specifically to the residents that are adjacent and back up to the freeway to let them know of that in advance. We want you to have our contact information so that if something has gone awry in your mind at night, you need to call us and we will do our best to get down to the bottom of that. But we appreciate your patience in advance. And it's just crucial that we work together as a community. We all want everything to go smoothly and safely. But our contractors are very experienced and know to do their best to minimize the impacts to the general public and especially those who live next to the freeway.
Thank you. Gabby had a question about extra law enforcement on patrolling during construction. So we do, Caltrans works with, and our contractor work with the sheriff's department and law enforcement to make sure that they're out there during nighttime shifts enforcing the closure area so that the crews are safe. And something we also haven't mentioned yet, that in construction zones, Caltrans, which is our state, transportation department, enforces a 55-mile-an-hour mandate for construction zones. So please make sure you're driving, within that speed limit for the safety of you, other drivers, and the construction crews that are out there. So law enforcement will be helping enforce that. And Matt, you had a question about how the Lakeview and 55 ramp will be designed. We talked a little bit about how the construction sequencing is going to go, which is a 2-phase approach. If you could go to the next slide, please, and show that. But how it will be designed, our team is working on a map that shows the end product basically on what it's going to look like. So it's, I know it's a little bit hard to visualize, but that will be available on our website and social media, and we'll send that out to our folks that are signed up for email alerts. So please sign up on our website to get those from us. For Chris asking about the Tustin Avenue Bridge, we unfortunately do not have a schedule yet for that segment, which is segment 2, the middle segment of the project. On our project map that's in segment 2 in the orange section. We don't have a schedule or a contractor for that segment. We are just starting segment 1, then segment 3 will start, and then segment 2. So please stay tuned on sequencing and schedule for segment 2. That will be available on our website when we have the information. Sign up for our project alerts to get those updates. And then Lisa, I think probably adding to her question back up is morning traffic, where we were talking about going, I think, northbound on Lakeview from Santa Ana.
Yeah, yes, from Santa Ana Canyon, yeah. Yeah, it always gets tricky when there's local schools there in that morning rush hour, which gets tough.
Yeah. Okay, we're plugging along here. Thanks for bearing with us. Let's see, Gail, will drawings and models be available soon for the Lakeview on-ramp and bridge? Yep, we will have, our team is working on the map for that, and a drawing of what it will look like. And will the Lakeview on-ramps be open during construction? We are working with the contractor Granite on getting the information of certain closures of the ramps according to when work will need to be done. So there may be some long-term closures on some ramps to do the work as quickly and safely as possible. If we keep, everything open all the time, it does slow down the work a little bit. So we try to balance what we can close fully and what will just be partially closed. So we still haven't received all the information quite yet on what will be fully closed as far as the ramps as we are working, but Lakeview Bridge itself will remain open for the most part, especially during the day. You will have at least one lane open in each direction as part of the reconstruction. There may be some full bridge nighttime closures when we're doing demolition for the safety of the traveling public and the crews, or even pile driving. So for the most part, during the day, you will have access to Lakeview Bridge, and then on ramps and off ramps, please sign up for our alerts to see when those may be closed or be partially closed.
There is a question about bike lanes on Lakeview Bridge.
Yeah, so Steve had a question about Lakeview Bridge bike lanes. I don't believe there will be designated bike lanes, but there will be shoulders that will be added to the bridge. If our technical team could confirm that, please, that would be great. Let me check here.
While you're checking there, I see a question from Stacy. How do we best contact you for a presentation for our managers of local branches? Please email us 91project@octa.net, or Stacy, I think we can go on the back end and see your registration and contact you there. Or if you'd like to just drop your email address in the chat to our team, we will be able to take that offline and contact you. This is exactly what we're hoping for. If there's a lot of people who do live near McKinnon and would like a neighborhood coffee chat, we can come out on a Saturday morning, bring some coffee, bring some donuts, and give this presentation, get to know you in the community and talk to you one-on-one, because I know this is a lot of information to take in just in this 20-30 minute presentation. So that's what we're here for. Please reach out, use us as a resource, make that request. We'd be happy to provide as best as we can.
Thank you. Yes. Really quick, back to the bike question. There will be class 2 bike lanes on Lakeview when we're all done, so in both directions. And class 2 means that they share the standard shoulder in each direction. That's what a class 2 bike lane is. Thank you, technical team in the background. Bobby, yes, we saw that you had a question about where you live and some photo surveying that was being done. If you could please email us that question, that would be great. We can share some information with you. For anyone listening in, should you live, very close to the project or the work being done, there were some folks that were surveyed as part of this project. There are going to be some vibration monitors set in the ground within the state property lines so that the team can continue to make sure they're staying within mandated limits of noise and vibration. But if there are any existing cracks in your foundation, in your home, and walls on concrete slabs, I would recommend taking your own photos to have, and should you need to file a claim later on in the project, then you have some current pre-existing documentation of that. So we can share some more information with you, Bobby, if you would like to email us. So for Chris, will the 2 closed intersections, Kramer Gliselle with the eastbound ramps on Frontera Street be improved to be spaced apart better? I'm going to rely on our technical team in the background to share some information with us. This is for segment 2. So if you could just give us a second to see if we can pull that information, and if we can't, we'll follow up with you to see if we can get your email address to respond to those questions after the webinar. Saul, you had a question. There's no extra lanes, but just new and improved ramps, correct? If you are referring to the entire project, so we are adding regular lane on the eastbound direction, as you can see on the screen now within segment 2. So approximately between the 55 and the 57 on the 91, we're adding a regular eastbound lane, a general purpose lane. And then on top of that, many of the bridges that cross over the freeway, as well as State College, which goes under the freeway. We're going to be doing some work for ramps and on ramps and off ramps and those bridges.
There's a question here about work being done at night or during the day, Nikki. You want to, or I can?
Sure. So work, it's both. We're going to be working during the day and at night. Crews will do work during the day behind the K-rail that's set up. We talked a little bit earlier about starting next week in segment 1. They're going to be setting out concrete barriers, which are known as K-rail, to set up some safe work zones for areas that crews can remove some vegetation, clear up some space to start some work, so they can work during the day. At night, they work on activities such as demolition, where they may need to take some lane closures on the freeway, or do a full freeway closure, or close ramp lanes or full ramps, because it's safer for the crews and the traveling public. They can't very well demo a bridge while people are driving on the freeway or on the bridge. So that's when they need to do the work at night, because there's a lot less cars. It's less impactful to the traveling public. And that's where our team comes in. We take the schedule that's given to us and share that with you as soon as we get it, so that you have advance notice as much as possible to be prepared for that. Oh, right. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I see some themes regarding the eastbound lanes of the 91 as you're approaching the Lakeview exit. There are no major modifications currently to the eastbound ramps nor the lanes. It's hard to see on here, but if you do go to our website, what's highlighted in blue is where the improvements will take place. So the eastbound lanes of 91 in this particular segment are not highlighted. So I just keep seeing some themes there.
Sure.
There is a question about the express lanes being extended with this project. There are comments on social media that are saying yes. The short answer is no.
Repeat that, sure.
Oh, I was saying there's a question in the Q&A about the express lanes being extended as part of this project, and that they are seeing comments on social media that are saying yes to this.
Not as part of this project, no. There's no express lanes extension as part of this project. That was for Matt.
Yes.
When will demolition of the Lakeview Bridge begin? We got a question for that. And again, we're trying to answer these in order as they're received, so hang in there. We don't have a final schedule quite yet, or if we do, it's still being signed off and approved. So we will get that information out as soon as we have it and give advance notice. Again, it'll be a 2-stage demolition. Demolition will occur with some freeway closures, possibly ramp closures, and at night. And we want to give the community driving through and surrounding enough advance notice. So please sign up for our alerts. But we expect that to happen within the next few months. And that information will be available social media, website, and project alerts. So please sign up. We did get a question about pre and post construction inspection consent form. So again, that is about taking some photos and video survey of your property. There is an option to do inside the house or just outside. If you have a pool, we want to get pre-existing condition. And that's just to ensure that if there was any visible cracks or damage that's currently on your property, that doesn't, change with the project. So if you could reach out to us via email or call the number on the letter, we'd be happy to answer any further questions.
In the chat, Nikki, I see something about elaborating on the vegetation removal by Lakeview.
Okay, can you take that one?
Sure. So as part of the start of the project, the crews have to what they call clear and grub so that they can be able to reach that specific area within the state right of way. So to my understanding, right, the first efforts that will begin next week is the vegetation between the westbound lanes of the 91 that back up to the retaining wall of the 91. So this will be right as you go underneath the Lakeview Avenue Bridge. That's where they'll start. But it's removing the vines on the walls. It's removing the ground cover that's within the areas of the on-ramp there. But anywhere that you kind of see this vegetation existing today, I think it's also, before you hit the Lakeview Bridge, as you're approaching the Lakeview off-ramp, that will take place as well. This is all really to provide room for the crews to access the construction site, start placing K-rail. As Nikki shared, in order to build the drop ramp from Lakeview to the 55, we need that space that's within the state right of way to be able to accommodate that new bridge. So that's what's taking place as part of the vegetation removal. And again, if you happen to live in that area, you should have received a flyer on your front door, right under your doormat, about this activity.
And we will put the information that's in that flyer in case you're maybe just outside of that radius that got our flyer. We talked about this yesterday. We want to make sure to reach as many folks as possible. We're going to put that information that was in that flyer in a e-blast alert, an email alert that's going to be sent out on Friday. So again, go to our website, sign up to get our email alerts. And Tasha, I see that you did not receive that flyer, so please, if you do use email, please go online, sign up for our email alerts, or we can sign you up, and we will make sure that you get that information about the activities that are next week specifically is what we're talking about for that. And then for Chris, back to your question about being spaced apart better. So within existing limitation, we are going to best provide some operational improvements with lanes and signals in that area, but the actual distance between the eastbound ramp and Kramer will remain the same. So that is for your question about spacing the ramps apart more on the 91.
We see another question here about express lanes. When this project is complete, is there a plan? At this express lanes extension or addition is not at all part of this project, nor is it planned at this time.
That's correct. For the 91 express lane, that's correct.
Yeah, thank you for that. And, I'm just going to throw this out there because we did receive, as part of our postcard, for people that lived in the area in certain zip codes, you should have received that in your mailbox. Somebody had called us saying that they have received text messages or emails about a toll or having a toll violation that's existing, but yet they are a 91 Express Lanes customer or a toll roads customer. And so they were confused about this. There's a nationwide phishing scam. So please don't click on any links.
I get those too. And I don't live in this area.
Yeah, same.
I didn't have the express lanes. Yeah. So
right. I get them too. And we're in the business. And I have more than enough usage of the toll roads and the express
Yeah.
lanes to go for lots of people, but nevertheless, there is a
Please be
nationwide
wary.
camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, so please be wary. If you have questions, you can always call on us. We can get you the appropriate number if you want to double check with your whoever you have an account with. So I just wanted to throw that out there because we're getting questions on express lanes and
Yes.
you never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Don't click on any links if you don't know those links. And like Sarah said, yes, I'm so glad you brought that up because we did get someone email us and I thought to myself, I think that's spam because we didn't send out anything. So
Right.
yeah, always good to check.
And they're ruthless. They will keep sending you text messages over and
Yeah.
over.
I like mark as junk and delete right away.
Right.
But don't do that to our staff. We want you to hear from us. Okay. And Tasha, yes, we see we can get you some graphics and updates how you would prefer to get them. That's part of our job to make sure if you need something mailed or emailed, we have a lot of different ways, as we've said, that you can reach out to us. We don't have any more open questions at the moment, so I'm just gonna wait to see. Sometimes it takes a minute to think of your question. And if once we end this, again, please email us. Oh, good. Okay, so someone was typing. It takes a few minutes to type too. Will there be an additional lane added from Lakeview off-ramp and the barrier wall needed to be removed and reconstructed? So if you could maybe clarify which off-ramp you are, like which direction off-ramp that you are talking about. 91 westbound. Okay, so if you're going westbound on the 91 and you want to get off at Lakeview. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Okay, yeah, let's stay on this slide. Westbound 91 and you want to get off at Lakeview. Will there be an additional lane on that ramp? Let me see if we can get some information from the technical team about actual number of lanes on the existing ramp and then what will be added. And will the barrier wall need to be removed and reconstructed? Good question. All right. So we're just waiting for that and see if any more questions come in.
So just a reminder, this presentation will be posted on our website, scta.net/91improvements, with the Q&A here, the whole video. So if you have, again, friends, family, relatives, neighbors that you may not have heard about this project, we encourage them to go watch, sign up for our email alerts at octa.net/91improvements. We live in a day and age where there's so much information out there. Things get thrown out of the mail. It's very windy in Anaheim Hills, at least where I am. So just up the road from Imperial Highway. So flyers might disappear, but we're glad that you're here today. We so appreciate your time and spending this lunch hour with us. And we just hope that you stay informed and please don't hesitate to ask us any questions. Oh, there's a couple more coming through, Nikki.
Yes, okay, sorry, and I'm waiting for the technical team.
Oh,
Will
sure.
there still only be 2 lanes to go on the South 55 from the 91 eastbound? Yes, these are good questions that we need the technical team's help with. I'm so sorry I don't have the engineer plans memorized. So if I'm not sure, it says anonymous here, which is totally fine, but if you could please email us these 2 questions. Again, our email is this first one listed at the top of the slide right here, 91project@octa.net. If you could email us these questions, so there'll still only be 2 lanes to go to the southbound 55 from the 91 westbound, 2 lanes, which was your second question there. And if you could email us your first question, that would be very helpful and we can look into that and get that to you about the Lakeview off-ramp and barrier wall. We can look into that for you, certainly. And I think those were the last 2 questions. here. Again, we have, as Sarah just mentioned, the Stay Connected slide. Please, please, please sign up for alerts. All right, and I'll just go ahead and say one more time, this recording will be available on our website, and we'll send it out via email to those who've signed up for our alerts. And we are very excited again. Thank you, to reiterate what Sarah said, that you were here with us today. You'll be hearing from us and meeting our team out at events in your neighborhoods. And we look forward to a safe and successful project. And have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thank you.